and welcome to UWI and You for this, the third Thursday of July 2015. We have very special guests with us in studio today, and so we have an hour-packed show of exciting things that are going on at the University of the West Indies. My name is Kimone Joseph, and I am the officer in charge at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site. And with me for tonight's program are two special guests. I have with me Ms. Sandra Griffith-Carrington, who is from the Marketing and Communications Office in Barbados. And I also have with me Mr. Barry Casimir, who is the Senior Administrative Assistant at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site. Sandra, we'll just begin with you to say a quick good evening before our break.
Thank you, Kimone. Good evening to everyone in Dominica. It is a joy to be back in Dominica. As Ms. Joseph said, I am working in the Marketing and Communications Department with special emphasis for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, working very closely with the principal as we seek always to take the UWI to you.
Barry, tell us a little bit about you and your role before we go to break.
Good evening. I'm Barry Casimir, and I'm the Senior Administrative Assistant at the UWI Open Campus Dominica. I'm responsible for accounts, budgets, and everything related to students' financing.
Very good. So we can look forward to an exciting show today. We're going to be talking about the role of the UWI Open Campus in general, and more specifically, we'll be talking about the Open Campus Dominica site, the new and exciting programs that we have on board, as well as the local professional development courses that we are offering to people who want to come to UWI. We'll see you in a bit.
I'm part of a tough, smart,
constantly evolving,
never too old to learn community of human beings.
proud of country,
Proudly Caribbean, global citizens.
with convenient access to over 400 learning programs
Delivered both online and face-to-face.
from the Caribbean's University of First Choice.
My mind,
My life.
my world of possibilities is wide open.
Call, click, or visit the UWI Open Campus.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. To those of you who are just joining us, my name is Kimone Joseph, and I'm the officer in charge at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site. And this is UWI and You for this third Thursday of July 2015. We talk first with Ms. Sandra Griffith-Carrington, who is from our office in Barbados. Sandra, how are you enjoying Dominica so far?
Oh, Dominica is always great. I've met some fine people. I've met Bobby from the time I came, and he has been the person who has been taking us around. I've been introduced to Chef Six and to learn more about the natural products. And of course, the staff at UWI Open Campus, excellent staff and great treatment at Fort Young.
Very good. Sandra, tell us a little bit about why you have been in Dominica for these past 4 days.
Well, my journey in Dominica is twofold. I'm the immediate past president of the Barbados Association of Office Professionals and the Caribbean organization, the Caribbean Association of Administrative Professionals. We had a weekend where we did 2 conferences, and it was great. My passion, however, will always be the open campus. So the conference having concluded on Saturday, my entire focus is on the UWI Open Campus, specifically in Dominica. For me, I want to be sure that every Dominican is fully aware of the benefits of the UWI. It's the best university in the region and beyond. And I say the best because I know every Dominican knows about Dr. Francis Severin. In addition, we boast that we have had at least 12 Caribbean prime ministers who would have had their foundation at the UWI Open Campus. The UWI Open Campus, we take our core values serious, being accessible, being agile, being enabling, and being student-centered.
Very good. Barry, can you tell us a little bit about your role at the Open Campus? Because you've had a slight change. You've moved from being the administrative assistant to being senior administrative assistant for this past academic year. How has that been?
Well, the transition was very good. At this point, I'm concentrating more on finance at the site as compared to previous years where I did part finance and the past senior admin assistant did the other parts of finance. But this trip, I've taken the rule to do everything finance at this point. I just completed my master's in adult and continuing education.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Which I think is actually a boon to the position that I hold at this point. It actually make me see the adult learner in a different light, what they go through, their struggles, and to be a bit more patient with them as compared to times back then. At this point, I'm really encouraging a lot of people to take the opportunity to further their education, because the fact of the matter, without a good education, one cannot move from point A to point B in this day and age.
Barry, recently you attended and presented a paper at the Caribbean Tertiary Level Personnel Association, where there were UWI people and some other universities as well from the Caribbean, and you presented a paper. Can you just tell us a little bit about the paper you presented?
Well, my paper was basically about how teachers or how tutors within a particular college setting view students based on their socioeconomic status. And what I found out basically is that depending on the socioeconomic status you came from, tutors treated you different as compared, if I was, say my parents were from the upper middle class, my treatment would have been totally different from how if I was to come from a lower class. For instance, you had tutors, by the time, whenever they saw students with, who came from the lower classes, they treated these students very bad. Additionally, many of the students who came from the lower classes, from the research that I found, is that they were disadvantaged in a lot of different areas. And I believe at this stage, the government, or I should say the Ministry of Education, should have different, how should I say, workshops to help teachers and tutors help them to be trained that they are better able to deal with those sorts of situations.
Right off the bat, I want to say that that is not the University of the West Indies Open Campus or the Open Campus Dominica site, just as a disclaimer. But also, what was important about that conference is it was for people who deal with student services.
Yes.
So while your research dealt with tutors, how do you think what you researched and what you found out could be appropriate for people who are in student services at the various universities and colleges in the Caribbean?
The fact of the matter is that administrators, they have to learn to deal with diversity, as well as people coming and take special note of people coming from the lower classes. Because these people are disadvantaged not only in the education system, in the health system, they get the worst health care. Everywhere you go, people who come from lower classes, they get worse treatment than people who come from middle class and upper class. To this end, I think it's very important that administrators, that they treat these people as equals as they would have treated someone who came from the upper class or middle class.
Very good. Talking about people who are disenfranchised, although men are not disenfranchised, what we have noticed, Sandra, is that we have a lot more women in both the online and face-to-face programs at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site. Since you work with the regional institutions, what do you think? Is that a situation that's happening throughout, or is it unique to Dominica?
No, it is not unique to Dominica, and coming from Barbados, we have that same problem. As I said, I'm responsible for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. We have that problem throughout. Hence, our new principal, Dr. Luz Longsworth, her motto for this academic year, as she is new, is taking the UWI to you. Kind of changing your team, but slightly, taking the UWI to you. We are working on a special project where we are hoping that we can get the males. And I want to make a strong appeal for the males to buy into our courses. We boast that we are online, on-site, on demand. So we want the males to tell us exactly what they want so we can offer it. I hate to admit it, but I see the males daily dropping the ladies off We going into the classrooms, we getting the education, and the men outside reading the newspaper, playing dominoes, waiting for us to finish. I believe that you should be in the classroom with us. Let us work together. And the UWI is willing, once you identify a program, whether it is engineering or whatever, to offer it so that the males, and I'm challenging now Kimone, to come up with an incentive, no matter how small, to get at least 20 males in. It would please me greatly when I return and I have to report and I check again to hear that Dominica changed the statistics around. Whereas we would have 80% women and 20% men, I want to hear that Dominica has been the first site to at least give us 60% male and 40% female. So I want to challenge all males listening to me to hurry and go over to Open Campus Dominica and register for one of the interesting courses being offered.
Thank you. Barry, you speak to fellow males all the time because you're a university graduate and you've been involved in education and you've embarked on an academic career that is even still continuing. What's the problem?
I believe that a lot of the courses that are offered are not geared towards males. When I look at, say, the bachelor's in literacy studies, for example, 100% women. You look at leadership management, 100% women. You look at management studies, 80% women, 20% men. Accounting, about the same thing. So I believe a lot of the courses are not tailored for men. I think if we have more technical courses, I believe that will have a difference in the figures. Because engineering on campus as well as law, they're still basically male-dominated. What we have to do at this point is to find out what our men are interested in, and we move from there. We design courses that are that garner their interest. As long as we have not done that, we'll still have a situation where you have 100% women, 90% women, and that sort of thing. But I think once we get technical courses that the men can do, and they're not afraid to embark on this journey, I believe that we can get a lot of males within those areas.
But we've started somewhat at the University of West Indies Open Campus Dominica with our face-to-face programs. About a year ago, we introduced the brokerage program, and we see that that is 98% male. Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
It goes back to my point. As long as we get courses that men are interested in, they will come. The brokerage course, both courses in the brokerage course, as well as the project management, we are seeing a lot of male participation in these areas. And they have done pretty well.
They have done very well. Yes.
At least 95% of the men who enter the brokerage program, they come out with their certificates of participation in it.
Achievement.
As well as the project management. So as long as I said, we get areas that men are comfortable with, they will come. I have no reason to think that men are just going to sit down
and wait for the women to finish.
Wait for the women to continue to do programs and not enter. I think once they get something that they're comfortable with, they will come. And the thing about education, once you succeed in one area, it pushes you to do something else.
Right.
So if, for example, I do brokerage, I would want next year to see what is up next. When I do that other program, I see that I got some success in it. Then I want to do my bachelor's.
Right.
I do my bachelor's. From there, I do a master's. Maybe I might even go for a PhD. So I think once men get their comfort zone, comfort level in any area, I think we'll have a different situation where you have more men doing reading programs.
And I like that you talk about that sense of continuation, because we are seeing that we have some people who would have done a program, a certificate of participation, which is a 6 weeks program, and they're finished with that, and then they do a certificate of achievement, and then they come and say, well, I want to do something online, I think I'm ready. You know, I was just testing it. I was just trying to see what I could do and so on. And starting for this fall, I know 2 ladies who had done the certificate in HR
Yes.
and are now going to be doing the HR programs. And they're excited about getting started because it was just this little push again to really get back into school mode, you know, being away for so long. And we're very happy for that.
Added to this, Kimone, I want not only the men, I want everyone to know about the prior learning assessment.
Right.
Because you might not have been going into school, but you might have been in a technical area for 5 years or more. Once your employer sends us a letter and can prove what you were really doing, then you can go through the prior learning assessment, which will reduce and give credit, add credits to your course of study, and reduce the time that you're there. So it's important, you know, because I know some men might be saying, I've been out of school for so long. But you've been doing things, you've been working, you've been in a field, and we assess it. So the prior learning assessment will be good for them at this time.
And there are two areas for the prior learning. You can do the prior learning assessment on its own and get a certificate in that, or you can do the prior learning assessment to get advanced credit for an actual degree program. So that I thought was a pretty interesting idea. And again, the UE is not just talking about meeting people where they are, it's actually doing the work of actually meeting people where they are. Sandra, I want to talk a little bit about your role now in marketing and communications, because you've been in marketing and communications since I've known you from 4 years ago, but your role has slightly changed. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you're doing now.
Well, it has slightly changed because the principal believes that marketing is the key to success in any organization. And for her, she needed somebody in the principal office to deal directly with marketing. Things come up. Sometimes we get not the correct press, so she wants it responded to immediately.
Right.
And then, as I alluded to earlier, she has a special project. Our principal have a heart to have men back in the classroom, to have men taking the leadership workshop. I was surprised to hear that there were more women taking the leadership course. So we want to get men back. So we are actually this semester working on getting more men involved. We also recognize that throughout the region, we all change. We have different culture. So for her, it's important then that we don't expect that what work in Dominica will work in Barbados or will work in Trinidad. So we're working particularly to help you tailor for your Dominican counterparts, but that it will bring in, and I keep emphasizing this, more men. The principal is looking, therefore, as I said, to take the UE to you. Her concept is that every household in Dominica should have a graduate. We recognize from earlier when we had our valedictorian being Darren Pennard, he gave us a touching story. It would not have been feasible for him to go to Cayfield, Mona, or St. Augustine. He was able to stay in Dominica, just needed a laptop and internet and study. And I keep saying that I know, Kimone, that if I came to you and I didn't have a laptop, no, I wasn't able to, that your site will make it. So we want to give more people the opportunity. Earlier I always tell people from a child, my mother taught me the song by the Mighty Sparrow. Without an education in your head. We want people to know that no matter where they are, whether you don't have qualifications or not, you can come in, as you rightly say, and go up the ladder. We take you where you are to where you want to be. And I'm happy to be with two counterparts. So we are all pursuing the PhD because we know that we can get there and that the UWI is the best route to get there.
I want to talk a little bit about the leadership change, because currently you are working with the new acting principal, Dr. Luz Longsworth. Now you know, and Barry and I know too, Dr. Longsworth from before when she was in Dr. Sever's position. She was the director. What do you think she brings to this new position as acting principal of the UE Open Campus?
Well, she has a vast knowledge, because once you've worked with a site, you know it all, and she's worked with all the sites. And then because she's in this position where she knows us uniquely, she's also now being able to motivate the staff. She knows our concerns. She's able to work with academic programming and delivery to ensure that the right courses are delivered to meet the needs of the Caribbean people. And I must add, she is a Caribbean woman, and she says it all the time. Born in Venezuela, but her parents were Venezuelan and Jamaican. So it is her, and again, she was a student of the UWI.
Right.
She's always saying, as we did our summer course in Barbados, preparing our students with CXC, she reminded them that her first exposure to UE was to do CXC courses. So she is strategically placed to help us. My thing is that I want us to work with her. So I want to send out another appeal for persons to recognize the strong regional university that we have. I keep saying it is our university.
Right.
It's the university of the region. And we must, and I can say this because I've tested it. When you compare the prices in the USA, wherever, we are affordable. We offer you the best prices, and the staff, I must say, are always willing to help and to engage. So she's bringing that blend of leadership.
Barry, what is Dominica looking forward to in terms of Dr. Longsworth's leadership?
Well, I knew Dr. Longsworth when she was director of Open Campus, and Dr. Longsworth has a presence, I find. She brings a particular presence with her as principal. I think she's going to change this university and bring it from one level to the next, as it relates to reporting, in terms of my area in accounting, in terms of how do you run areas in terms of CPE programs,
right?
In terms of the quality of bachelor's, master's, and even PhD programs. I think she's going to make the courses be relevant to members. As Sandra just alluded that, she's on a go now to try to get more men into the classroom. I think at this point she's going to make a lot of the courses be relevant. Piggybacking on our last conversation in terms of the brokerage program, a lot of men came to that program because it was relevant.
Right.
As long as you get programs that are relevant and they can actually see themselves moving from one stage to the next, they are going to come. And I think Dr. Longsworth is going to make that happen during her tenure as principal.
And also we have new and exciting programs at the University of the West Indies Open Campus now. We have a dynamic person in Dr. Warrican as well, Dr. Joel Warrican, who is not a stranger to Dominicans because he has been here before, and he also presented our last lecture, which was the National Bank and the UE Open Campus National Distinguished Lecture Series. And he has been really pioneering new and exciting, relevant programs for the Open Campus. Sandra, can you just tell us a few of those new programs that are coming on stream as of September, and people can still register for those because registration for these courses will close on the 17th. So if you can just tell us some of the new programs.
And it's good because, again, with Dr. Warrican, he brings a mix. He's been sanctioned, he's lived in Barbados, has some roots in Dominica, and he has a whole Caribbean image. So he's joining us in getting more men, and some of the courses that will be coming up will be the Bachelor of Science, and in particular, tourism and hospitality management. When you come here, the tourism, I just experienced it, and the hospitality. Political science, and I know that that is key in Dominica, I've heard it. Psychology, sociology, those are some of the Bachelor of Sciences courses coming out. When you think about the management of sciences, we have management and educational leadership, we have the public sector management, we have educational leadership, and we have management studies. But for me, the key this time around, and I've been finding as I promote it throughout the region, is the Doctor of Education. In Barbados, we found a number of our principals and deputy principals in secondary schools signing up for the Doctor of Education. So a mix now, we are bringing different programs. And I've taken full note of Barry's, speaking about brokerage, I've written it down so that the next time around, we can advance on this course.
Yes. Barry, so Sandra just told us a little bit about the Bachelor's of Science and the Masters of Science programs that are coming on board for September. You also have exciting updates of what's happening on the local front. So tell us about some of the face-to-face professional development courses that are available for people to start as early as the 27th of July.
At this very moment, we have corporate administration and business ethics, employment law for human resource management, events management, foundation estimating and practical engineering surveying, fundamentals of corporate law, introduction to auditing, introduction to property law, and small business management. Those courses are basically tailored to both men and women, but particularly foundation estimating and practical engineering. We thought that many of our courses in the past, they have been less technical. To this end, we wanted to have a more technical group of courses at this point. So I'm hoping that a lot of the men register for this course, Foundation Estimating and Practical Engineering. Introduction to Property Law, which is my favorite, incidentally. That is one course I would have loved to do if I had the chance to do it. But because I'm traveling next month, I won't be able to join that course. But that's a very interesting course because it teaches you how to do simple things as transferring your property from one party to the next. We all know that if you use a lawyer to transfer your property from your change the title, you pay at least 3 to 4% of the value of the property. Say for example, you buy a house for $350,000. You pay 4% of that. You're looking at close to $15,000 of that amount in just legal fees. You could have used that to say renovate your property.
Right.
You're looking at under that particular area, you're looking at landlord and tenant, the rules governing the landlord, what are the rights of the landlord, what are the rights of the tenant. A landlord, for example, must have his property in a way that somebody can live in it. You can't, for example, rent a place for someone and there's no washroom facility and that sort of thing. So all these different things are key areas would be covered in that course. You're looking at, for example, in cases where a couple were married and they got divorced. You want to know what is your portion of the property.
Right, what are the rights of
what
each
are
partner?
the rights of each party. So all these different things will be covered. So I think these courses are very relevant and interesting. And I really hope that a lot of people register for these courses. You think of events management. A lot goes into managing an event. Managing an event is not just getting up one day and decide that you're going to manage it. A lot of work and effort goes into that. You have to know proper lighting. You have to know your sound, how it sounds. You need to have backup. All these things are key in those in managing an event. Additionally, in the events management course, when the students are finished, they will be actually asked to do an event.
Right, they have to plan. Yes.
They have to plan an event. So the courses are very practical.
Right.
When you finish with the courses, we're hoping that you can go out and you can actually implement it, whether it's in your work or you could even start a small business.
Right. Let's talk about that small business management program.
The small business management program is basically geared to ensure that a lot of small businesses succeed in Dominica. Too often that a lot of people open small businesses, when they present the information to Inland Revenue, they can't tell you what are their profits, what are the losses, what are the expenses. And you really don't know what is really happening in the business. This program is going to help you in terms of how you manage your funds, financial management. How do you market your product? A person can have a real good idea. And if, for example, the business is not marketed properly, the business doesn't make any money. Your location, all these things are critical in having a small business.
Right.
You have to know who you're going to target, your target market.
Right.
All those are very key ingredients into having a successful business. How do you go for a loan? How do you dress?
Right.
How do you write up a business plan?
Right.
All these are very key areas.
Right.
And unless you don't have a background in those areas, you're going to have difficulties in attaining any area.
Yes, so we'll come back in a bit to talk about some more information.
The Dominica Olympic Committee has a vision to secure medals at an Olympic Games and to bring honor and recognition to the nation. And DOC is on a mission to promote Olympism and protect the independence of the Olympic movement, represent the International Olympic Committee, live the principles and values of the Olympic movement, develop and protect athletes, promote women in sport, anti-doping, fair play, sport for all, the environment and culture, non-discrimination and education. Our logo, national colors, red, black, and green. Red, 10%, black, 30%, forest green, 60%. Support the Dominica Olympic Committee and engender national pride.
The website of the Dominica Olympic Committee, www.doc.dm.
Thank you for staying with us. We're also going to talk to Sandra now about something exciting that you're working on in your department in the Marketing and Communications Office. You are currently talking to students and past students about their success stories at the Open Campus. I want to hear a little bit about that project.
Okay. Well, even before we get there, I want to go back to the events management because I believe that every organization from time to time have to plan an event.
Right.
Just coming out of the Caribbean Association of Administrative Professionals, I want to strongly urge their local chapter, the Dominica Association of Admin Professionals, to ensure that every member participate in this events management. And by extension, every organization who have an administrator, whether you be a secretary or admin officer, to send somebody to do events planning. It's important if you want to have successful events.
Right.
As you continue to look at your logistics and different areas to ensure that your event is so appealing that people will come again.
Right, right.
And having said that, the basis for success stories, and I'm going to begin in Barbados before I get to Dominique, and I would have talked about Darren Pinard. But in Barbados, we offer events management as a short course like you. And if you come to Barbados and you go into QEH, there's one business that stands out. Having gone through the university, she couldn't get a job. She approached the QEH, and her business is one which caters to flowers, fruit baskets, balloons. So you know you come to the hospital and you want to cheer up somebody, stop there, get something, and go. That's the power of our stories. So we turn them into practical, as Barry said.
Yeah.
She has a practical story, you know. Finish events management, you did the assignment, as Barry said, you have to come up with an idea. She came up with that idea, she ran with it, and she's known in Barbados for this. What I've found in collecting the stories, you expect us, because we're employed, to market the UE. I'm happy to hear the stories of the students. There's some in Dominica, I was reading, received some. One in particular touched me because she said that she was a single parent, and we know that. And in addition to being a single parent, on the journey, she found herself pregnant again. But she speaks specifically to the help received at the site. In fact, there was a story where someone actually was in the labor room doing an exam. She got into labor, but it was the day of the exam. They provided a space for her in the hospital. She wrote her paper. I thought that was oh so unique. And then it was time to deliver the baby. We go on and beyond as we enable our students. Because here am I saying, I gotta wait another year to sit an exam. And why did you decide to come this evening and not next 2 days? And she felt mentally ready to sit the exam. And with all the correct procedures, where the nurse and doctor is there, but we have an invigilator. She was there to write the exam. So I'm saying all these success stories, there are people who seek to want to go to the States, then you find you don't have enough finances. So you come to the UWI, you provide the perfect environment, enabling. What is this the student want? How can we help? How can we go beyond? And then you are able to stay in your environment where you have your whole family support and complete your studies. So throughout the region, the stories are very encouraging. And that's what I like, because sometimes you decide to do a course in North America, but you're staying, you don't have that reach, because you either have to go to North America, or if you're staying in your homeland to do it, there's no support.
Right.
But at Open Campus Dominica,
there's a site.
There's a site, there's full support.
That is the difference.
And can meet you wherever you are.
That is the difference. Is the fact that, you know, unlike University of Phoenix and all those universities that do not have a physical place that you can actually go to for support, that at the University of the West Indies Open Campus, there are these sites, and there is somebody, a warm body that you can go to if there is something wrong.
And in Trinidad, 2 years ago, we boast. Our valedictorian was what we would call differently able.
Yes, I remember.
You remember her? And she had her own story. You start off this course, you get in an accident that changed your life. What happens? The Open Campus is there to help you live your dream. So the success stories have been good. Our students are appreciating the work of the staff. They appreciate the fact that we have payment plans. And I must say the payment plans is not only for online courses. Barry alluded to it this morning. So I want to do a course. I don't have the $600. I can come in and I can say I could pay $200 a month.
Right.
I might not even be able to pay the $200 a month. I might say to you, I can pay $100, $150, but I guarantee you that it will be paid at the end of the 13 weeks. Which other university would offer this? So.
Yes. Barry, we have our own success stories in Dominica. Can you talk to a few instances, you know, where you've met students who would have told you, you know, if it wasn't for Open Campus, I wouldn't have a degree?
Of course, I could speak of, say, Uni John, Ironia Stedman. Those are very good examples of success stories in Dominica. The fact of the matter is an adult learner has a lot going on with them. An adult learner as compared to another learner. As an adult learner, you have your family, responsibilities of your family. You may be a single parent. You have your job. All these different factors are very difficult factors to take into consideration when you start education. A lot of these students who come to me after they finish, you hear stories like, if it wasn't for the Open Campus, I could not have had a degree. One, because of the cost, and two, it allowed them to stay home, look at their, check their family. For example, a lot of the students, they have children in grade 6, sorry. So a lot of them wanted to stay home to help their children with the
Common entrance exam.
Common entrance exam. So all these are benefits that the Open Campus presented for these students. Additionally, our payment plans, it worked for a lot of students. As Sandra just said, there are no university, I don't know of any university who's going to allow you to come in, pay part of the fees, and still allow you to do your programs.
And to design a payment plan to suit your budget. You know?
You go to the US, as soon as you come,
they want the money. And if you don't have the money, they cut you off.
Yes, you don't get your certificate, you don't get anything. Open Campus, we recognize the situation within the Caribbean, and we work with our students. From what I've seen is a lot of students, as soon as they finish, they come to my office and say, Mr. Barry, what else do you have? What can we do? What program, I'm in that particular area, do you think doing a master's in management would suit where I want to be in 5-10 years? Do you think a master's in education is where I should go? All these different things. I had this situation, this young lady, she had done a bachelor's in literacy, and she said that she wanted to move away from education. So I asked her, well, what do you do? She told me that she helps people in churches, she gives afternoon classes. But I said that a master's in adult and continuing education is ideal. Because when you help the people, when you work with people in church, you're dealing with adult learners. You're on your job, you're going to teach another teacher something. You're dealing with an adult learner.
An adult learner.
So everywhere you go, you deal with adult learners.
Yes.
So the idea that a person may think, well, I want to do management because it may better position me to get a better paying job. I say to them that the degree you do doesn't particularly position you to get a better paying job. It's how well you do your work and the quality of your work.
Yes.
For instance, I can do a bachelor's in history, for example. What I would have done, I would have gone into tour guides. I mean, who would be the better person to talk about your history than a history major?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So the fact of the matter is that you do something that is relevant to you, and when you finish, you try your best to be the best of what you did.
Right.
And I just want to share my personal experience because I studied at Capefield campus when I started out as a Barbadian. And because you said my job took me throughout the region, there were so many weeks I missed class. You had to depend on somebody. And the notes are usually their notes and not your notes.
That's true.
I said immediately with open campus, I'm pursuing my studies with the open campus so that when I'm here and I finish and I go back to the hotel, I can just get online, interact with my tutor, whereas I would have missed the class in Barbados, I can now do it no matter where in the Caribbean I go. And I keep saying that is how unique the open campus is. And that is something that we need to, you can be at work, you might say you can't do it because you can't get time from work. You don't need time from work.
No, you don't.
You can go by the springs, especially if you go down. The one we went on
to Tears.
To Tears. And right there in Tears in the water, I can study.
Oh yes, yes you can.
Or you can go up by Trafalgar and study. So y'all have, Dominica has the unique places for me to relax and study.
As you're talking about continuing education, the both of you are continuing education and you are continuing education with the University of the West Indies. Barry, I'd like to talk a little bit about your program that you're going to be pursuing. You're going to be beginning your ED program at the University of the West Indies Open Campus, and you're going to do that in higher education. So tell us a little bit about that program and why you've decided to do that.
I'm just going to piggyback on what Sandra said. One thing Sandra omitted is that even if we are an online campus, there's still a lot of networking within students. When I did my master's in adult education, we went to the conference in Trinidad. I met one of my colleagues that I did my master's with. So those are the exciting things the open campus provides. Even if you don't see, well, through Skype and all these other mediums, you can see the person. But even if you can't physically touch the person, you meet a host of different people from different Caribbean countries that you become friends with. In reference to the ED program I'm doing, I sought to do PhD in education leadership because I see it as one way of upward mobility. I think additionally I work in an education institution to this, and I think it's a very good area to advance myself. Originally I was going to do a second master's in management, but I think education leadership was better suited for where I wanted to be and the area that I am in.
And it is one university, so for me,
yes, tell us
even
about
though I'm
your
registered
program.
at KFL, there will be some that I will do the talk courses with online. So it's one university, so my grades will try and go back to KFL. So I'm saying, you know, it's one university.
So tell us why this is the right time for you to do your PhD in marketing.
It's the right time because I buy into the vision of the principal that we need to take the UE to you. So we need to be able to market our courses that everyone would recognize that UE is the university of the region. It is our university. What people fail to realize is that it's our governments who fund the UE. That means it is my university and it should be yours. So we want to ensure, and I keep emphasizing this, that more males get on board. So my project for my PhD, and that's why I'm counting on Dominica, will be to show what programs we have brought to raise the level and the intake of our males. So my focus in the PhD will be to getting males to get into education, and in particular online education.
Now, Barry, the EdD is a new program.
Oh, yes.
You know,
one
it's
of
a
the
new
ones.
program. It's one of the new and exciting ones. Tell us why should people who have a master's go into that particular program?
Well, it's basically, I would say high school principals. That would be ideal. These would be the ideal sets of people to enter that sort of program.
Because there are two of them. There's the school systems, and then there's the higher education.
Higher education leadership.
Yes.
I think leadership is very important if you're going to be a principal of a school or even permanent secretaries.
Yeah.
Very good area for them to enter.
Right.
And the program is not too long. It's a 3-year program. It's about 50,000, just under 50,000 for the program, which I believe is a steal.
It's a steal. EC.
EC that is. And you pay it within the 3 years.
Yeah.
And even that course, there's a payment plan for that course. But I think that program it's ideal. But you don't even have to be in education because it's an education leadership program. I think it's a good area for these sorts of people. If you're into education, if you're a high school head teacher or college head teacher, or even you work in the Ministry of Education, you could read those sorts of programs, or if you're coordinating a school. Because the fact of the matter, leadership is key. You want to know how to work with a diverse group of people. You want to know how you budget. If you have a school, how you budget funds. You want to know how you motivate staff. You want to know the best technologies that you can use to make your school or your system the best that it is. So I believe if you're thinking of if you're into education or any learning setting or any leadership setting, I think that area is ideal for one to enter.
Yes.
And please,
go ahead.
please
Sandra.
emphasize that even if you compare it to other universities, you will find none that will offer that price.
That is so true.
That is true. Another exciting program that started in Dominica was the Masters in Leadership Education.
Yes.
Dr. Rorican was here doing a workshop, an intense workshop for the Ministry of Education, and they saw that need to run that particular program. And we started with a small group of principals, deputy principals, and senior teachers in the various schools in Dominica. We started that in January, and the University of the West Indies is pleased to announce that it is now open for the entire region.
Yes.
So I've told the Dominicans, you know,
First.
you were the pioneers, but come September, other people will be involved with the program too. And they're excited about that because they've become quite a nice little group together, and they're excited about sharing and opening up to the other people throughout the Caribbean and being able to share that experience. They say it's a lot of work, but of course. But they are enjoying it. It's tailored for them. It's tailored for adult learners, as we've been saying all this time. And so that program is something that they're looking forward to completing in about 2 years from now. Barry, you've been talking to a few of the teachers who've been coming by. What are they saying about the master's program?
Well, what I can say for certain, those who did the adult and continuing education who completed in the last cohort, they said this program was the best they've seen for a long time. We are now seeing a lot of teachers who are not actually senior teachers but have their first degree. They're moving to the leadership program. So I think that's an added boon, an added advantage for that school system. And we're also seeing a lot of people who finished their bachelor's in management studies moving into the different areas, streams in management, specialize in HR, management specialize in marketing. I've seen a lot of students moving into that. So at this point, I'm really happy to see that a lot of Dominicans are taking advantage of the new programs that we have. And I think it's very good because a more educated society, a more prosperous society we will have. You have less crime, you have you have better systems. You have better controls within the organization. There's less likelihood of people taking advantage of people. If you know your rights, it's very difficult for someone to take advantage of you. So I'm really happy that a lot of people are taking advantage of these new programs that we offer.
And these are really exciting times for us. I mean, Sandra will always talk to you about what's going on in the region too. But these are a lot of exciting times for us at the Open Campus Dominica site. We've had a very good academic year.
Yes.
We've had programs for teachers in terms of the diploma in education through MONA, and we've had some teachers taking advantage of that. And so in addition to doing stuff online, they also come in and do teleconferencing with the School of Education in MONA. So that's been going on for the entire academic year. We've also had with us a free program that a lot of teachers have been taking advantage of. That's the Carry Talents program, which is a program that offers certification in heritage and human resource management. And that is a program for Barbados in Caville with the Errol Borough Center, and also with our center here. And so a lot of teachers are participating in that program. We see them last week, they were doing film, they were actually recording film and so on. And so that's a very exciting program that they are participating in, and also with our local face-to-face program. So what we're seeing is a lot of life at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site, and we're very happy that people are coming forward. Of course, we want a lot more people to come forward and to come and find out what we're doing, and we'll continue to talk about those things that we're doing when we come back from break.
I'm part of a tough, smart,
Constantly evolving,
never too old to learn community of human beings.
proud of country,
Proudly Caribbean, global citizens.
with convenient access to over 400 learning programs
Delivered both online and face-to-face.
from the Caribbean's University of First Choice.
My mind,
My life.
my world of possibilities is wide open.
Call, click, or visit the UWI Open Campus.
Thank you for joining us and for staying with us. We've been talking to Mrs. Sandra Griffith-Carrington, who is working in the Marketing and Communications Office in the Principal's Office in Barbados. And we've also been talking to Mr. Barry Casimir, who is the Senior Administrative Assistant at the University of the West Indies Open Campus Dominica site. We've been talking about some of the things that have been going on in terms of programs, in terms of new programs and new ideas, in terms of professional development courses. We've been talking about the new leadership at the University of the West Indies Open Campus. And so as we begin to wrap up here for this evening, I'd like to ask the two of them to tell us a little bit about their vision for the oncoming academic year. We'll start with you, Barry. What do you see happening at the Dominica site for the new year coming?
Well, personally, I would like to see more men enrolled in a lot of the programs that we have. It is my vision and it's my hope that the programs that we offer will be tailored and relevant to the men in Dominica's society. I think once we have a situation where you have more men enrolled in programs, you will have a different society, you'll have a different feel of things. So I think that is one thing I would like. I would like also to see a lot more people take advantage of the programs that we have. Because the truth of the matter is that our program, the cost of our program is very competitive. Additionally, it saves you the trip if you're to go overseas. You have your family members with you for support. It's very lonely when you're overseas and you don't have that sort of family support.
Right.
So I think it's a very good idea. Additionally, one may say, what about the networking aspect when you're on campus? But even while you're doing the program online, you still get to network with people from St. Lucia, Trinidad, and all these different countries. So I think it's a real plus for people to move into that direction to do the program distance or online, as opposed to if you had to go to the US or any other university outside of Dominica. We have a large cadre of courses that you can choose from to do while you're here. Additionally, if you figure that you want to just start small, like you want to try something small and then move into a bachelor's degree, you could start one of our local face-to-face programs. Those are very good programs. I find they're very relevant to a lot of the issues that are in Dominica. If you look at something like corporate administration, business ethics, that course moves into corporate governance, corporate responsibility.
Right.
How do you treat employees, whistleblowing? All these things are very key areas that we have to look at in our society at this point.
Sandra, what's your vision for 2015-2016 academic year?
Well, as the UWI seek to continue to advance our intellectual leadership, I want to first begin by congratulating Dominica. As I move to the region, Dominica is a strong, Dominica site is very strong. I endorse all you've been doing. You've been pioneers. And we want this to continue. Like Barry, my focus for 2015 will continue to be to get more males involved. That's my focus. I believe that equally as the women climb the corporate ladder, we need to have men at our side. So that's my focus for 2015, to get more males. We want to see our intellectual leadership embracing both men and women. And I strongly believe that with the strength of the Dominica site, and you just being the pioneers in the master's program, that you will no doubt be the pioneers in getting the males. I can see myself coming back and hearing that Dominica are following the statistics throughout the region and seeing that Dominica males responded to the call. So,
and what are some of the ideas that you have of some of the things that the open campus can do to get them to come in the doors instead of reversing after they drop the ladies off?
well, like Barry said, we're going to look really at our courses. I'm going to have a one-on-one with Dr. Warwick, and I know that's also the vision. So we're going to look at the courses. So I promise you that very soon you would hear of courses that will be more appealing to the males.
Very good, very good. Barry, to wrap us up, could you tell us a little bit about the professional development courses? Because the deadline for applying for those courses is July 22nd, and we begin those courses on July 27th. So just give us an idea again about some of the courses and programs that are expected to start on the 27th.
Okay, we have corporate administration and business ethics, employment law for human resource management, events management, fundamentals of corporate law, foundation estimating and practical surveying, and practical engineering surveying, introduction to auditing, introduction to property law, small business management. These courses are $600 per course. You pay at the First Caribbean International Bank. No payments should be made at the site. The account number is 1462810. You could register, you could apply online, or if you don't have that facility, you could come at the site and you could do a paper registration. Classes will be generally on Mondays 5:30 to 7:30, and from Tuesdays to Friday, classes begin at 5. We do hope that a lot of people take advantage of these courses because you learn a lot. We did, for example, this 6-week marketing program just last summer, and the students came out of it learning how to do a business plan, a marketing plan. They paid only $200 and they got all of that in that course. The students were able to come up and give presentations. So if you have a phobia of even speaking in crowds, you were able to go up and present your idea. So this courses provides an avenue. They provide an avenue for you to springboard yourself from one level to the next if you're trying to move in that direction. Say if you want to do a bachelor's in marketing, the marketing course provided you that avenue to see what marketing is about. Is that what I want to go into?
Right.
So those short courses provided that sort of element. Even, for example, if I want to do something in, I'm thinking of doing something in law. Company law would be something ideal. Property law, if I want to do accounting, auditing, would be something I could look into as well.
Right. So these are very exciting programs. And the thing about it is that you can do a payment plan with us. You can pay $200 upfront and you can break the rest of the payments down. And all you have to do is come to the Open Campus site and tell us that you want to do a payment plan. I'd like to thank my guests for joining us this evening. We're very excited to have the both of you with us, and we thank you for joining us. Sandra, we look forward to you coming back to Dominica and getting the kind of statistics that you hope to get as you continue your degree program.
So I am hoping that the men will send me emails today about what they want to do.
So thank you for joining us, and good night.